You went to school for 12, maybe 16 years and still never learned how money actually worked. They taught you how to pass a test, but not how to build wealth. In this video, I'm breaking down the school system, what the school system skipped, and why it's keeping people broke. If you want to skip 12 years and go to the front of the line, stay tuned. I'm going to give you 3 actual items you can use today. Welcome to Coach's Corner. Let's get it. You've spent years in school. Some of you guys have spent decades. You've learned how to dissect frogs, solve triangles, memorize the periodic table, and figure out what the hell mitochondria does. Let me ask you something. Does anyone ever teach you how money actually works? Seriously. Do they teach you how to build wealth, how to use credit, how to invest, how to avoid being stuck paycheck to paycheck in that trap for the rest of life? I've been there. I know what I'm talking about. Nope. Instead, we're sold the same old story. Go to school, get a good job, get good grades, go to college, save your money, get a good job, and retire at 65. Sounds good, right? Only problem is that strategy is completely outdated. And for most people, it's a guaranteed path to financial struggle. And I got to say it, and this may sound like a little conspiracy theorist-ish, but I don't think that was an accident. So let's break this down. What is the first lie we're told? Go to college. You'll be set for life. That may have worked 30 years ago, but not today. Unless you're a doctor, engineer, or a specialized attorney, most degrees don't guarantee a job. Even folks with MBAs are struggling to get interviews, let alone paychecks, right? It's just crazy. Meanwhile, student loan debt in the U.S. has surpassed 1.7 trillion. Okay, the average graduate owes 30 to 40,000 before they even start making money. You're in debt when you start. And those degrees, they just don't pay like they used to. I'm not shitting on college, believe me. In fact, most college debt has grown by a mile. Okay, so now we're going to have a generation of smart, hardworking grads who are drowning in debt. You know, they're not even making their bills unless mom or dad can cut you a check. And if they do, hey, God bless. So what should our young folks be doing instead, or at least learning? Looking at trade schools, entrepreneurship, learning real world financial skills. Let's talk about that saving money myth. Used to be saving was smart. You'd earn 5 to 6% interest in a savings account, and inflation wasn't too bad. Not anymore. Today, the average savings account earns between 0.01% and maybe 0.5%. Meanwhile, inflation is eating 3 to 7% of your buying power every year. So what does that mean? If you saved $10,000 in the year 2000 and didn't touch it, today that'd be worth about $5,500 of real spending power. Not a whole lot, not a good return. So no, saving won't build wealth anymore, but investing will. The folks building wealth today are investing in things that grow: real estate, the stock market, businesses, entrepreneurships, various things like that. That's how you beat inflation, not by hoarding money in a savings account and hoping it works out. The hope strategy doesn't work, folks. Next lie, work hard and you'll be successful. Yeah, I hate to break it to you, but hard work alone doesn't build wealth anymore. I know a lot of people who work very hard. You know, if that was true, some teachers, firefighters, nurses would be super rich. I know a lot of janitors that work hard, and they should be rich, but they're not. Why? Because they're stuck in a system that trades time for money. And if they don't work, they don't get paid. That's called active income. And while there's nothing wrong with hard work, it's just limited. I'm not hating on working. Don't get it twisted. The real key is learning how to build passive income, money that comes even when you're not working. That's how the wealthy operate, okay? They work, yes, but their money works harder than they do. They have systems. They have assets. They earn 8 to 10%, even 20% returns every year. Excuse me. Whether they're at the office or on the beach, they're making money. All right, let's talk about credit. I still can't believe that schools don't teach this. But most young adults graduate high school having no clue how credit works. I didn't know how credit worked until I was in my late 30s, right? They don't know how to build credit. They don't know how to use it. And they definitely don't know how to leverage it. But here's the truth. Good credit is one of the keys to building real world wealth. Okay. With a 750 or higher credit score, you get lower mortgage rates, lower auto loans, better credit card offers. Your entire financial life becomes more affordable. Trust me, I know. I had shitty credit. Let me give you an example. A person with a 750 credit score might pay around 200,000 in interest over 30 years on a mortgage. With someone who has a 600 score, they pay more like 350,000. That's 150,000 more just because of bad credit. That's money that could have gone into some investment, vehicles, retirement accounts, or even bought some more real estate. The wealthy people understand that. That's why they borrow money at low rates to buy income producing assets, not consumer junk. Now let's ask the question. We're all thinking, well, why isn't taught this in my school? Why wasn't I taught this, right? Seriously, why is financial literacy not a basic requirement in school or high school or college? Is dissecting frogs more important than understanding inflation? I think not. Is trigonometry more important than knowing how to build your credit score? I think not. Of course it isn't. But the school system is built over 100 years old. It was designed to produce employees, not owners. Okay, it was built to create compliant workers, not financially independent thinkers. Wealthy families teach this stuff at home. That's how the wealth stays in the family for generations and generations. They pass it down to businesses, assets, and knowledge. Okay, now here's the good news. You can learn this on your own. And the sooner you do, the sooner you'll be able to escape the rat race. You don't have to be born into money. You just need to be hungry enough to educate yourself. So here are 3 steps that you can do right now to get started. 3 actionable steps. You need to own some income producing assets, stocks, businesses, real estate. You need to increase your financial literacy. Read, watch, listen, learn. You need to leverage small debt, build your credit so you can access low rates and buy appreciating assets. You don't need to work harder. You need to work smarter. I know that sounds cliche and we say it all the time, but it's true. And just because school didn't teach you this doesn't mean you can't become a master of it now. Okay? I didn't finish college, but I made it my mission to understand money, real estate, and investing. That's how I ended up in the mortgage business. And that's how I help others create financial freedom on their own terms. So if this gave you some kind of inspiration, something to think about, hit that like button and subscribe. And stick around. We're going to talk a lot more in the future.